Slash commands, routines, hooks, sub-agents. It feels like learning to use Claude Code has become, harder than actually doing the work
Well,
itself.
absolutely. It's a lot to take in.
Right. You sit down to write, and suddenly you are managing an entire artificial ecosystem. So today, we are cutting through all that noise.
We really have to. It's getting too crowded.
Welcome to today's Deep Dive. I'm your host, and with me is our resident AI expert. We got our hands on the notes of this incredibly obsessive user who spent over 500 hours testing Claude Chat, Cowork, and Code, all to answer one brutal question. Which of these features actually change daily work?
Because at the end of the day, that is really the only metric that matters. And
Yeah.
just a quick roadmap for you listening. We're entirely skipping the basics today.
Yeah, we're throwing out the hype.
Exactly. We are skipping the D to A tier foundational basics. So we assume you already know how to upload files and, you know how to toggle fast mode.
We aren't doing a tutorial on the interface.
No, not at all. We are looking exclusively at the top 12 tools for research, writing, and deep automation. These are the systems that genuinely redefine productivity.
So before you can build an AI operating system, you really have to know how to give the AI a true finish line. Let's start with setting goals.
Yeah, that's kind of the foundational step.
Because honestly, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself.
Oh, it happens to the best of us. It's super common.
Like, I start with a clear idea, I get a bit lazy with my instructions, and the AI just, wanders off into the weeds, hands back a half-finished project, and I end up completely frustrated.
It happens to literally everyone. I mean, standard AI interaction is basically a single-turn transaction. You ask it to do something, it tries exactly once, and then it literally stops predicting the next word.
It just gives up.
Right, it doesn't possess an inherent sense of completion. And that brings us to feature number 12 on the list, the /goal command. This fundamentally rewires the underlying stopping condition of the whole system.
Wait, so instead of the AI just spitting out a predetermined length of text and quitting, it actually evaluates its own work.
Precisely. You are basically wrapping your prompt in a logical evaluation loop.
Sure.
The AI forces this secondary invisible process. It asks itself if the output actually met your exact condition.
And if it didn't?
If the answer is no, it just regenerates the output. It flat out refuses to stop until the condition is fully satisfied.
Give me a concrete example of how this looks in practice.
Sure, so you never just say, make this website better. That provides zero measurable metrics.
Right, that's way too vague.
Instead, you say, keep improving this page until the globe loads instantly on refresh.
Keep improving this page until the globe loads instantly on refresh. I love that. It removes all the ambiguity.
It really does.
It gives the system a hard metric to test against. It's like giving a runner a finish line. You don't just tell them to run in a general direction. You point to a literal line on the ground and you tell them to stop only when they cross it.
Now, you do have to consider what happens when that finish line is miles away.
Right.
Sometimes a task is simply too massive for a single local session. The context window gets overwhelmed, and the AI just loses the plot entirely. This is where feature number 11, UltraPlan, steps in to solve the paralysis.
Big, messy tasks usually cause my local terminal to just crawl to a halt. How does UltraPlan fix that bottleneck?
It changes the entire architecture of the execution. When you trigger UltraPlan, it creates a massive task tree. It breaks your huge prompt into smaller, discrete logic puzzles.
Okay.
Then, it sends those individual puzzles to the cloud. Multiple agents figure out the strategy in parallel. They compile a clean blueprint and then send it back to you.
I have to question the resource cost of that, though. If I send massive planning tasks to the cloud with UltraPlan, does that completely drain my local computing power or my context?
Not at all. That's the genius of the architecture. The cloud infrastructure absorbs all the heavy processing. Your local machine stays entirely fast and responsive.
So it saves local memory by doing the heavy lifting elsewhere.
Exactly. You keep coding or writing without any lag.
Yeah.
But you cannot effectively delegate tasks if you don't understand your own workflows. You have to audit yourself.
Which is feature number 10, the /insights command.
Yes. It generates a detailed HTML report of your last 30 days of usage to spot wasted time and repeated workflows.
An audit of your own AI interactions. What exactly is it looking for in those logs?
Inefficiencies? Mostly. It scans your terminal history to show where you repeatedly type the exact same instructions. It highlights moments where you argue with the AI.
So it basically tells you where you're wasting time.
Exactly, so you can build better automated systems.
You stop guessing and start optimizing based on real data, but, setting a goal is kind of useless if the AI forgets what you were working on an hour later.
Oh, completely useless.
Context windows are finite. We have to ensure the AI actually remembers what we're trying to achieve without breaking its brain.
Oh.
Let's move into mastering memory and context.
Memory management is arguably the biggest bottleneck in complex AI work. Usually, an AI starts as a blank slate every single session.
Yeah, you have to re-explain who you are and what you want every time.
It's exhausting. But feature number 9, auto memory, fundamentally changes that dynamic. Claude automatically updates its memory over time about your preferences, so it evolves from a blank chatbot into a tailored assistant.
So it watches my keystrokes and it actually becomes customized to me.
It does. It uses a retrieval augmented system in the background. It silently writes your coding styles and formatting preferences into a hidden file.
The compound interest of that memory must be incredible.
Oh, it is. The more you use it, the less you have to explain.
But let me ask you a probing question here. If I am rapid prototyping, I often write incredibly messy temporary code. Does auto memory ever accidentally memorize the wrong habits or bad code snippets?
That is the exact danger of compound memory, yeah. If you go down a bad path, the system will absolutely memorize your mistakes. It assumes your temporary fix is a permanent preference.
Right, you still need to occasionally prune what it remembered.
You're still the gardener. You have to jump into the system settings and manually delete the bad context.
Yeah.
If you don't, the AI just gets confused.
Which brings us to a related problem. Getting lost in the weeds and making massive mistakes mid-project. Feature number 7, the /rewind command. Normally, we try to fix things by moving forward, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
We argue with the AI. We tell it to undo the last thing and try a different method.
Fixing forward is completely toxic to your workspace
Why is it toxic?
because it bloats the active memory. When you argue, you fill the context window with apologies from the AI. You fill it with broken code snippets.
Oh, right.
The neural network gets distracted by the garbage data in the chat history. The /rewind command rolls the code and the conversation back to an earlier checkpoint.
I compare /rewind to using a massive Control-Z. It doesn't just delete the bad code on your screen. It actually edits the literal context history array. It gives you a perfectly clean slate.
It preserves your technical limits because every single apology eats up your capacity to process new information. Visibility into those limits is crucial.
And you get that visibility through feature number 2, the status line. It's this practical tracker that sits quietly at the bottom of your terminal.
Yeah, it tracks your system effort level, it shows your context usage, and it displays your token count.
And for anyone newer to this, token count is just chunks of words the AI reads and writes at one time. You have to watch it or you hit a wall unexpectedly.
The status line prevents those sudden crashes. If you cannot see your limits, you cannot manage your resources.
It grounds your workflow in physical reality.
Exactly.
So we've secured the memory and context. Next, how do we multiply this workforce so we aren't the only ones doing the thinking?
This is where things get genuinely futuristic. We move to feature 8, agent teams. We step away from standard prompting and put different AI personas into a virtual room together.
So you assign them specific roles. You spin up an AI beginner. You spin up an AI technical expert. You create an AI customer.
Right. You give them a system prompt that radically shifts their neural pathways. Like a skeptical CFO agent weighs risk very differently than an enthusiastic marketing agent.
And they actually interact.
They brainstorm, they critique your idea, they debate each other in real time.
It is exactly like a chaotic corporate boardroom arguing over strategy. You get all these conflicting viewpoints clashing together. The friction forces the final output to be infinitely stronger than just a single AI perspective.
It definitely costs more compute resources, but for deep strategic thinking, the diversity of thought is completely unmatched.
Now, contrast that chaotic boardroom with feature number 6, sub-agents. These are entirely different,
No,
right?
very different. They operate in the background, they are driven by simple markdown files, and they execute tasks quietly. Agent teams talk to each other, sub-agents just do the work.
They're essentially background scripts parsing data without a chat window. One sub-agent reviews your content structure, another checks your citations against a database, another inspects your code for security flaws. Sub-agents are like an efficient factory assembly line.
Everything moves systematically.
But assembly lines break down. If one sub-agent is parsing a massive data set, and another is just spell checking a paragraph, can they get stuck endlessly waiting for each other to finish?
No, they operate completely asynchronously. The background agents process their distinct tasks independently. Your main session simply acts as a central hub. It pauses, waits, and cleanly coordinates the final results once everyone reports back.
Got it. The main session acts as the ultimate supervisor.
Precisely.
Ah.
You're the CEO setting the vision. The main session is your chief of staff handling logistics, and the sub-agents are the workers on the factory floor.
We're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, but when we come back, we're talking about unchaining the AI.
Stick around.
And we're back. Once you have a team of agents, the next logical step is to stop micromanaging them. We need to unchain the AI from our active attention.
This represents the leap from using a tool to managing an autonomous system. It requires absolute trust in your setup.
Let's explore feature number 5, the /loop command. This repeats a prompt on a schedule. It leverages a local cron job for up to 7 days. Say, checking something every 30 minutes.
It's perfect for recurring, tedious checks.
And just so we're all on the same page, a cron job is basically a hidden computer timer that runs tasks on a strict schedule.
Great definition. You can ask the AI to check a competitor's website or summarize a live data feed every morning. It just runs quietly in the background. You don't have to think about it at all.
And to make it even more mobile, you use feature 4, remote control. This completely changes your physical relationship with your work. You are no longer chained to a glowing rectangle on your desk.
You start a massive compilation task on your local computer. You walk away, you go get a coffee, you open your phone, and you can monitor and control that exact local session from anywhere in the world.
I am slightly skeptical of how remote control handles processing, though. If I leave my desk and I'm using my phone at a cafe, is my laptop actually doing the heavy computing?
Yes. Your laptop holds all the memory and runs the intense local session. Your phone is basically a thin client. It just pulls the visual interface from your machine over the network.
So your phone is basically just a remote steering wheel.
That is a perfect way to conceptualize it. The heavy engine is still back at your desk.
And that engine can turn itself on automatically. That's the power of feature 3, routines. You integrate the AI directly into your desktop app's calendar.
Routines move beyond simple timers. You schedule full, complex agent sessions. It isn't just a basic script firing off. It's an actual agent waking up, loading the proper context, and performing deep work.
Like daily research or weekly project check-ins. It wakes up at midnight, it audits your content structure, all while you are literally sleeping. It shifts our entire relationship with computers. It's exactly like moving from driving a manual transmission car to managing a self-driving fleet. You aren't turning the wheel or shifting the gears anymore. You are merely setting the destination coordinates.
Whoa, imagine scaling to 1 billion queries. When these agents start scheduling their own sub-agents based on those daily routines, the scale is truly mind-bending. The automation compounds on itself continuously.
It is staggering. But setting that destination requires absolute precision. All these complex schedules, parallel agents, and routines are completely useless if they don't know exactly how you like things done.
Consistency is the hardest thing to achieve with any language model.
It really is.
You give it a prompt on Tuesday, give you gold. You give the exact same prompt on Wednesday, it gives you garbage. The neural pathways just hit different weights.
It's incredibly infuriating. That lack of reliability prevents true automation. And that brings us to the number 1 feature, the absolute foundational element of an AI workflow. Feature 1, skills.
Skills turn fragile, unpredictable prompts into rigid, reusable systems. They guarantee the AI behaves predictably.
These are reusable markdown recipes that teach Claude how to perform a task the same way every time. Skills are exactly like stacking Lego blocks of data. You build the process once and call it whenever you need it to guarantee consistency.
You snap those blocks into Claude Code, Chat, or Cowork. The AI reads the underlying studs of the block identically across environments.
You save the standard operating procedure, you share it with your team, you never rewrite those instructions again.
You just call the skill into the session, and it perfectly executes the recipe.
But building customized workflows usually implies writing Python scripts or dealing with complex APIs. Does setting up these skills require advanced programming knowledge?
Not at all. The beauty of this system is its simplicity. Skills are just plain text documents. They are simple, lightweight markdown files. You write your instructions in natural language, and the system handles the technical execution.
So plain English instructions work perfectly fine here.
It bridges the gap between deep technical automation and natural human language. It turns a standard chatbot into a cohesive operating system. That is why it is the anchor of this entire setup.
Let's take a step back and synthesize the core philosophy behind these 500 hours of testing. The real power of Claude Code isn't in the flashy demos on social media.
Definitely not.
It isn't in generating a generic snake game in 3 seconds. It is in building a rigorous, repeatable system.
It's the evolution from novelty to utility. We are finally entering an era of sustainable AI productivity.
The tools now respect your time.
They securely remember your preferences. They distribute the heavy lifting quietly in the background.
By relying on skills, status lines, and routines, Claude stops being a blank terminal you have to micromanage. It becomes an integrated, highly reliable part of your daily workflow. It fundamentally changes what it means to work.
You step away from the execution level. You operate purely at the strategy level.
And that leaves us with a critical question for you to consider. If we can successfully automate our routines, if we delegate our deep research to background sub-agents, and if we let an AI CEO effectively debate an AI customer, wait, what is the core human skill left for you?
That's the big question.
Maybe it's just your taste, your curation, your unique ability to define the finish line.
A profound thought to end on. You are the architect now. The machine just builds the house.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Stay curious, and we will see you next time.